Hey, everybody, I'm back. I'm here to tell you about the other big idea of the day, which is net energy. And let me just show you the diagram I made. This is in your reading. It's something that they're going to talk about, but I want to make sure that you know that I am thinking about it too. And so net energy, very simply, is just the difference between net always means the same thing, like net profit. The difference between what you take in energy wise, like the total amount of energy in a barrel of oil, for example, minus the first of all, right off the top, what you lose via the second law in the particular, not just it's not just that a fuel loses a particular amount of energy, it's the way that you use it, which I'll talk about a little bit more later. But some ways of converting energy are more efficient than others, and so different uses for different fuels can lose different amounts to the second law. That's enough for now. But also minus your production costs, transport, any other sort of stuff, environmental remediation, health claims, whatever it is economically that has to get paid for to make that energy is ultimately what you call your net energy. And so this diagram, by the way, is called a Sankey diagram. You have a total amount. It actually should show the arrow larger, more coming in, and then these two parts split off and leaves a smaller amount of net energy. I didn't do it very accurately, but you can see that net energy is what's coming out at the end after you subtract the production costs and what you lose to the second law of thermodynamics, inevitably. And let me show you another. Whoops, no, not that. Let me show you another, not this. This is the article I want you to read about net energy analysis, which is a really good look. It's a quick read. There it is. It's over. Okay, it's a one-page scroll. Please read it. Where is the diagram that I had? Okay, this. Sorry, excuse me. Okay. All work is accomplished with high power energy inputs. So one of the things, high quality energy is what they're talking about. That's a different idea. High quality concentrated energy that you can use. Major economies need that. Like for example, I was looking at some other stuff. Cow dung is how a lot of the world, dung of various animals, is how a lot of the world is forced to make its energy, and not just with steam combustion like this, literally just cooking and eating. And if you think about it, that's not so great. It's low quality energy. It's dirty. It may release arsenic of all things that people then breathe in. But anyway, high net energy is a big deal and it drives economies. But here is this thing that has a nice diagram here about oil refining. And so we just talked about oil refineries, and if you didn't watch that one, you should go back and watch that one first. Goodbye. Welcome back. So you on the left you have your crude oil, and then you can see energy just like the Sankey diagram, sort of going out and being used for pumping and transport, being used for the refining process. You can imagine that refining process uses a lot of energy in and of itself, right? There aren't just those furnaces blow all day long, hot enough to boil crude oil. So that's a lot of energy right there. And as you can see, the energy that's left is, in this case, accurately much smaller than the energy you began with. Look what comes out, because most of the diesel, by the way, that's made, look how it's put back in. It has to be put back in to produce that high quality fuel. So high quality fuel is needed to make high quality fuel. It's an interesting paradox. Nobody's burning dung to make this. This is the real deal with real energy. And so, anyway, this is interesting to note that a lot of the energy used, a lot of the energy we produce is just used to make energy, and what is left is net energy. And so, the argument that this article makes is that net energy is what really drives society, not money, not total energy. It's the amount that's left over for actual use. And this idea, actually, let me show you the book. Here. Second. So the book has this whole set of graphs on page 301. At least I don't know what page it is in the thing I gave you. I'll be honest with you. This is a slightly different book. give it a second to focus, but I want to focus on, you can see that it does the what's called the energy ratio, the ratio of cost to what's produced. It's defined as net energies for various energy systems over their estimated lifetimes. The higher the net energy ratio, the greater the net energy available. And so what this is saying is that, like, if I make 10 times as much profit as my cost on a product, like if I buy something for $1 and sell it for $10, that would be a ratio of 10. If I buy something for $1 and sell it for $1.10, then that's a ratio of 1.1, not as good. If I buy something for $1 and sell it for $1, I'm not making anything. And if I buy something for $1 and sell it for $0.9, really got a problem. And so one of the things the book points out is that low efficiency or low return, low ratio energy usually needs to be subsidized. So sometimes we don't have any choices. But we can talk about that analysis later. What I really want to get into is just look at space heating. Okay, you have with passive solar, which is literally just in this house here, like arranging your windows so that they catch a lot of the sun. And there is also solar water heating, which is a passive thing, as opposed to, they don't mean photovoltaic energy. They're just talking about making your house warm. So passive solar has a huge return as far as its costs to its energy production. Natural gas comes in as ahead of oil a little bit. Somebody's calling me from Vermont. I'm going to pause and see who it is. Hello?
Hi, this is Amy, and I'm giving you a call from the dealer service center.
Sad. Oh, I'm still recording. You watched all that. Okay, hold on. Well, I can't edit that out. Let's go back. Sad. Anyway, here we were talking about the energy return on investment, or the net energy ratio for heating spaces. And so what I want to point out is that not necessarily the passive solar versus natural gas versus oil and active solar part, et cetera, that's interesting, but look at the ones that are tiny. And this says something about net energy that is really important. Electric heating, whether it's a coal-fired plant, an electric heating fueled by a gas-fired plant, or a nuclear plant, meaning like when you flip your switch, the efficiency of that electricity depends on whether it comes from what type of plant it comes from. And these situations, the way that all of those work, coal, gas, or even nuclear, work by boiling water and running a turbine, turning a turbine blade. Just like a wind power turns a turbine blade, so does nuclear power. It's just from hot steam produced by immersing that uranium in water, produces high temperature steam that then does work. That's a very inefficient process. Just that itself is a 30% efficient process. No heat engine is much more than 30% efficient. So you lose 70% of your energy right there. So I think I pointed this out. By the time you turn on an electric bulb, which is 5% efficient in and of itself, you've lost 98.8% of the energy that was inherent in the ground to all those processes. So you can see why thinking about net energy is the most important way to think about energy. And so, again, if I come to tell you, I have a product you can sell for $1 million and it only costs you $999,999 to get it, that's not worth it, right? If I tell you, hey, I got a product that you can sell for $1 million and it costs you $500,000, well, now you're probably talking a little more. And of course, if you can buy it for $50 and sell it for $1 million, well, then that's great. And the one last thing I will point out is that when we look at our electricity production at who has it, you can't disregard coal, but it's clear who the 2 biggest are, the 2 potentially biggest. Well, with coal, 70% the pink areas are sort of possiblies. I guess I looked and looked and looked and looked and tried to find out what that is. I'll keep doing research. But anyway, the point is that hydroelectric and wind sure do have a higher net energy than coal, nuclear, or solar for that matter. And so finally, what am I talking about? Let me stop the share. And you're going to see that one of the questions I'm going to post for you in a few minutes of questions that I want you to answer about this chapter are about what net energy has to do with it. And especially as it addresses one question that I'll just tell you what it is right now, which is what's the deal with, and there's this little chart, I already closed the book, but it says one of the disadvantages of oil as a fossil fuel is that it has a good net energy, but it's declining. What does that mean? So when we think about net energy, fuel qualities, petroleum distillation, etc., I want you, rather than memorizing the facts of this thing, some of which you can really ignore, a lot of the OPEC stuff and whatever, it's interesting, but like we're talking about net energy, high quality energy, high quality fuel, and the second law of thermodynamics, of course. And so it's more about that than any particular political thing. That stuff is interesting, but you can skim over that. I'm really interested in the sort of physical science more of this. All right, folks, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to get this out to you hopefully in time for class time. And I missed the heck out of you. I'm sorry, but I think I mentioned right at the outset, right? I'm going to get my brother his Pfizer. So yay, that is awesome. Anyway, I miss y'all. I will be live with you on Friday, one way or the other, I think. Stay in touch. And I'll talk to you later. Make sure you let me know if you've done a revision. I know I saw a couple, and don't worry, I'm not going to forget about them. Thank you for doing that. I know Mason Tenzin and Max got in touch with me. I forget who else, but make sure you let me know if you've got a revision for anything. Okay, folks, I'm rambling. I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye-bye.